Thanksgiving at my parents' house was predictably predictable, 20 people squeezed around an overstuffed table, my mother's dry turkey staring back at us as the centerpiece, and my sister Emma basking in praise while I was quietly written off as the family disappointment. This year followed the same script. Emma just got promoted to senior marketing coordinator, my mother announced as she slid the mashed potatoes across the table. She's making $58,000 a year now, plus benefits. A proper career with a real company. Congrats, Emma, I said sincerely. Emma gave me a small, guilty smile. She knew what was coming. Unlike some, my father said, slicing his turkey with exaggerated force, who freelance and can barely pay their bills. I was Riley Chin, 29, a cybersecurity consultant. For 6 years, I'd run my own business, conducting security audits and penetration tests for major corporations, 15 Fortune 500 clients in total. Last year alone, I earned $840,000. But my family thought I just played on the computer and scraped by. Freelancing isn't a real job, Aunt Linda said, grabbing the cranberry sauce. No stability, no benefits, no pension. What will you do when you're older, Riley? I'll manage, Aunt Linda. Will you, though? My mother pressed. Emma has health insurance, a 401k, and job security. What do you have? I had 7-figure investments, 3 rental properties, and retirement savings that would eclipse anything Emma could accumulate in decades, but I didn't say a word. At least Emma goes to a proper office, my mother continued. She has structure. You sit in your apartment all day staring at a screen. That's not a career, Riley. That's hiding from life. My phone buzzed. A message from my lawyer, David. Riley, we have a problem. TechWorld magazine is publishing an exposé tomorrow about corporate cybersecurity spending. Your client list leaked. They're naming you the highest-paid independent security consultant in the country. Story goes live at 8 p.m. tonight. I froze. That list was supposed to be private. NDAs protected every contract. I texted back, how did they get it? Anonymous source. Probably someone at one of your clients. They're making you the headline example. Unknown consultant earns millions from Fortune 500 companies. I glanced at the clock, 6:47 p.m., just over an hour until the article went live. Riley, are you even paying attention? My father barked. Put the phone down. This is family dinner. Sorry, work emergency, I muttered. Work emergency? Uncle Richard scoffed. What? Someone's email broke? That's an emergency? Something like that, I said, slipping my phone into my pocket. This is my point, my mother continued. Real jobs have normal hours. Emma leaves work at 5 and doesn't worry until morning. That's balance. Emma squirmed. Mom, Riley's work is real. Darling, no one doubts she's doing her best. But it's not the same as a proper career like yours. Another buzz from David. The article's already gaining traction. Wall Street Journal and Forbes are picking it up. Your family will see everything. I excused myself and called him. How bad is it? For you? It's amazing publicity. You'll get inquiries from half a dozen new clients. But yes, your family will see your earnings, your clients, everything. I know. Should we try to stop it? I thought of years of dismissal, the endless lectures about real careers, and 6 Thanksgivings of being written off. No, I said. Let it run. When I came back, dessert was out, my grandmother's pumpkin pie, served to applause and polite pretenses. To savor, even if most of it was just crust. Riley, your cousin Jason is looking for a job, Aunt Linda said, leaning over the table. Maybe you could help him get into one of those tech companies you work with. I don't work for tech companies. I consult for them, I replied. Same thing. Couldn't you put in a good word? I'll see what I can do, I said cautiously. That's exactly the problem with freelancing, my father grumbled. No real connections, no way to help family. If you worked at a proper company, you'd have influence, networking opportunities, promotions. Dad, I have plenty of connections. Connections? Computer nerd connections don't count. I mean people who wear suits, people who matter. My phone started vibrating non-stop. Texts were pouring in, colleagues, past clients, industry contacts, all seeing early copies of the TechWorld article. Riley, just saw the article. Congrats. Holy, $840,000 last year? You're killing it. TechWorld just exposed you as the cybersecurity consultant everyone wants to hire. I silenced my phone, but not before my brother-in-law noticed. Busy night, Riley, he teased. Spam. Work emails? On Thanksgiving? That's sad. Emma and I are completely off today. That's healthy boundaries. At 7:30 p.m., Uncle Richard turned on the TV. Football's starting. Who wants to watch? The family shuffled into the living room while I stayed behind, helping Emma clear the dishes. I'm sorry about Mom and Dad, she whispered. They'll never understand what you do. I know. For what it's worth, I think it's amazing. I've Googled you. Read the articles about your work. You're the only one who did. She gave my arm a squeeze. Eventually, they'll get it. In the living room, Uncle Richard flipped through channels, stopping on a business network. Tech stocks are rising today, the anchor said. And in corporate news, TechWorld magazine is dropping a major report on cybersecurity spending. Details at 8. Boring, Uncle Richard muttered, switching back to football. By 7:55 p.m., I sat with the family, watching them cheer for their teams, oblivious to the storm about to hit. My phone buzzed one last time from David. The article's live early. Going viral. Brace yourself. I opened TechWorld on my phone. The headline read, "The $1 Million Consultant, How Riley Chin Became America's Highest-Paid Independent Cybersecurity Expert." The piece listed my clients, earnings, testimonials from Fortune 500 CTOs, and a detailed path from recent grad to top consultant. Uncle Richard's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, then froze. "Oh my God," he whispered. Everyone looked up. "Riley Chin," he said slowly, "that's you, right?" "Our Riley?" "Yes," I said calmly. He turned the screen toward the room. "You're the Riley Chin in this article. The cybersecurity consultant who earned $840,000 last year." The room fell silent. My mother snatched the phone, hands trembling. "This says you have contracts with Apple, Microsoft, Goldman Sachs, and 12 other Fortune 500 companies," she stammered. "That's correct," I said. "It says you charge $15,000 a week for consultations. Rates vary by project, but yes, roughly in that range." My father pulled up the article on his own phone. "Riley, it says you're one of the most sought-after cybersecurity experts in the country." "I've been lucky to build a good reputation," I said. Emma read over my mother's shoulder. "Mom, here's a quote from a major bank CTO. Riley Chin saved our company from a potentially catastrophic breach. Her work is worth 10 times what we pay." Aunt Linda looked like she might faint. "You made $840,000 last year. Almost $1 million. Last year was strong. This year should hit around $950,000. The number lingered between us. "But, you don't have an office," my mother said quietly. "You work from home." "Because I don't need one. My clients are nationwide. I work remotely, travel when necessary, and solve their security challenges. Where my desk sits doesn't matter." "And benefits?" my father asked. "Health insurance?" "I handle my own insurance. Excellent coverage. I also max out my retirement accounts every year, maintain a diversified investment portfolio, and own 3 rental properties." My brother-in-law's face went pale. 3 rental properties? Yes. purchased over the last 4 years. They generate income that covers the mortgages and adds cash flow. Uncle Richard kept scrolling through the article. It says here you've spoken at cybersecurity conferences, led panels, and companies compete to have you on retainer. Demand has been high, yes. And we thought, my mother began, hesitant. You thought I was struggling, I finished. You assumed freelancing meant failure, working from home meant laziness, and lacking a traditional office job meant I didn't have a real career. We didn't know, my father said softly. You didn't ask. 6 years, not once did any of you inquire about my work. You just assumed that because it didn't look like Emma's career, it wasn't real. The football game played on in the background, but no one was paying attention. Aunt Linda set down her glass of wine. Riley, I'm sorry. We've been dismissive of your career. Yes. You have. But it shouldn't have mattered how much money I made. You should have cared about what I was building, not because it was profitable, but because it was mine. My phone rang, it was a Forbes reporter. I let it go to voicemail. You're going to be famous, Emma said softly. Everyone in the field will know your name. They already do. That's why the article was newsworthy. I've spent 6 years building this reputation. You all just never noticed. The rest of Thanksgiving was awkward. My family didn't know how to interact with me anymore. The girl they once dismissed had become someone unfamiliar. My mother tried to recover. Riley, honey, we're so proud of you. We always knew you had talent. No, Mom. You didn't. You thought I was wasting my potential, and you said it repeatedly. You never tried to understand. You decided my career wasn't valid because it didn't match your expectations. That's on you, not me. Later, as people trickled out, my father approached. Riley, can we talk? Just the two of us? We stepped onto the porch. I owe you a huge apology. We treated you like a failure when you've been extraordinarily successful. Yes, you did. Why didn't you tell us? Why let us think you were struggling? I tried. Every holiday, every mention of my work, you dismissed it. You compared me to Emma. You said I needed a real job. Eventually, I stopped trying to convince you. He was quiet for a long moment. You're right. We should have listened. You should have. But you were too busy celebrating Emma's $58,000 salary to notice that your other daughter was making 15 times that. That's not fair to Emma. I'm not blaming her. She has a good job. But Dad, you held her up as the success story while treating me like a cautionary tale, without ever asking about my life. I don't know how to fix this. Neither do I. Better late than never, I suppose. For what it's worth, he said softly, I've always been proud of you. Even when others didn't notice. I know. Thank you. 3 months later, at Christmas dinner, my father introduced me to relatives. Riley, our daughter, a top cybersecurity consultant. It wasn't perfect. The progress was slow and uncomfortable. But it was progress. Some families need a public declaration to recognize what's been there all along. Mine was one of them. And maybe that was okay. Or maybe it wasn't. Time would tell.